Hi, so apparently this is my first video, so I'm just gonna say hi.
That was me on May 30th, 2016. So exactly 10 years ago today, I started this YouTube channel and everything that goes with it. I stopped celebrating YouTube milestones quite a while back because I never really watched those kinds of videos myself, and I didn't think it would be necessary to celebrate myself. But now that I've been doing it for 10 years, I think this is a milestone to celebrate and to look back on my career on YouTube, maybe. And I want to take this opportunity to thank every single commenter, emailer, visitor. I had some visitors here who joined me on this journey. Some of you have been around for all this time, I know that, and many of you joined a bit later. It's a massive privilege, of course, to be doing YouTube these days and to be doing it quite successfully, I guess. Not quite as successfully as some other channels, but yeah, I think I did something right when I started the YouTube channel. I started with repairing audio stuff, as you've seen, but I quickly moved on to repairing retro computers, and that is now my main thing. And I started doing that just because I love retro computers. I started the whole thing because I learned a lot from other YouTube channels in those days, and I still do actually. And I was fixing hi-fi equipment from the 70s, 80s, sometimes 60s. Yeah, I was doing that as a hobby to earn some extra cash, basically fixing up things that are broken and selling them on eBay mostly. That was what I was doing, and I learned so much from other YouTube channels that I wanted to give something back. I developed kind of my own processes for things, and yeah, I learned a lot while doing it, and that is still the case today in the videos I'm making today. I barely have any education in electronics or anything like that, so I have no clue about electronics. I learn everything while I'm doing it, and it seems that some of you who are watching these videos kind of connected with that. And I heard from many of you that you started repairing your own electronics inspired by me and this channel and other channels. And that's kind of the biggest compliment you can get as someone who puts his work out in the world, I guess. And another thing that some of you told me is that you actually started your own YouTube channels because I did. So I guess it's more of a case of if a fool like me can do it, I can do it, or you can do it. But yeah, I feel really honored by that. There were some ups and downs during this journey, and mostly ups, I guess, but lately there were some downs, so I'm dividing this video into some sections that I named after one of my favorite movies of all time, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. First of all, let's look at the good stuff. So this is my channel. I made 388 videos in 10 years. That means kind of like 38 or 39 videos a year. Basically, that's quite a lot if you consider that, yeah, sometimes I had breaks in between because several things happened. I used an iPhone 5S, I think, in the beginning. That's why the videos don't look that great in hindsight. But yeah, this is when I started, May 30th, 2016, with the Sansui repair. That is actually still my kitchen radio amplifier to this day. This is the Sansui from my first video. And it still works fine. I did some tests, just figuring things out, bought a nice multimeter. This is mostly stuff I did for myself, basically. Sharing my knowledge about how to not blow up your speakers. Found some smartphones in the trash, which is also kind of a thing that I still do, finding things in the trash and trying to fix them. I built my first LED video light, which sucked big time, but I used that in the following videos. And that's when I bought my desoldering station, 2016, August. I made a USB adapter. These all have quite some views now, of course, but back in those times, the channel was really small. I started with 0 followers. And then there's my first Commodore 64 repair video. That was in November 2016. And that was actually the very first Commodore 64 I ever repaired myself. I watched my dad doing it. He repaired his Commodore 64 a couple of times and added like extra kernel ROMs and things like that. So I watched him doing it when I was a kid. But this was actually the first repair I did on a Commodore 64. I had been repairing things before, but mostly audio stuff, as I said. And then I refurbished this Commodore 64 that had a sound problem, and the reaction of the community at the time led me to make this my main focus in my videos. The main topic were retro computers after this point, because the community was so helpful and so nice. People on Twitter just guided me through the repair, and I was able to fix the Commodore 64 that didn't have any sound. I think it turned out to be a problem with a trace that got eaten away by some, I don't know, Coca-Cola being spilled in the machine at some point. Yeah, I fixed the keyboard, did more amplifier repairs, and it went on and on from that. And then I got a VIC-20, my first data set repair in 2017, and I celebrated 1,000 subscribers in 2017. That was kind of nice back then. There's some videos that got quite a few hits here, like how to copy C64 disks between SD2IC and real drives. I think that is still gets hits. I need to make an updated version of that. You can see that my focus shifted slightly. I got my old Amiga stuff back around that time here. I got some Amiga stuff off eBay, and I got my own Amiga 1200 back from my sister, who kept it, thankfully. Yeah, and then it just went on and on. I started around that time to put stuff on Patreon and allow people to support me there, 2017. And that has actually grown into my main source of income these days, but more on that later. Yeah, I failed a lot, and I still do occasionally. I made the only scripted video I ever did about the Aldi Commodore 64, and that got over 100,000 views. That's not bad. Yeah, and then it went on and on and on over the years. Oh, 2018, something happened. I had to move out of my flat because I broke up with my then girlfriend, and the frequency of videos went down quite a bit because I had to move, and I was devastated, like mentally. So I took a lot of breaks during that time, and I communicated with the people on Patreon, and then I built my new lab. That is still my lab today. Yeah, I don't think I ever made a video about that. 2019, then 2020, there was something happening that affected the whole world and me as well, called the pandemic. And that sucked, especially since I lost my day job at the time. I was working as a logistics guy, basically, in a warehouse for a clothing company, small company, and they mostly sold outdoor clothing. So when nobody was allowed to go outside during the pandemic years, or at least that year, they had to lay off quite a few people, and I was one of them. So I got fired because of COVID in 2020. And I don't think I ever made a public statement about that. So YouTube has been my main source of income since 2020, since COVID, since I got fired somewhere around the middle of the year, I guess. So I've become, against my better judgment, I've become a full-time YouTuber in 2020, and I've been hanging on ever since. I think I shared that I lost my job on Patreon only because I don't really feel like e-begging. Yeah, a lot of you who supported me anyway gave me a lot more money at that point, and I was able to make a living. And I still kind of do. Things went a bit south around that time with my mental health. So 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. Not the best years for my mental health. And it didn't help that several people in my close friends and family got sick in various ways and I had to take care of them. My mental health was shattered basically, so I didn't feel great and I still had to put out regular YouTube videos, ideally. And I didn't manage to for a long time. And now I'm back to a video a week at the moment. I don't know if I can keep that up because I'm still a bit shaken. Which leads us to the bad. Yeah, the vast majority of comments I got on my YouTube videos and emails and people that contacted me in other ways were really, really overwhelmingly positive, with the occasional exception. And of course, the saying is true that one negative comment weighs more than 1,000 positive ones. That might be the rate of positive to negative comments actually on my channel, but I really take the negative comments to heart every time, basically, even if I know that it's just a drop in the ocean, basically, of people who approve of my stuff. I still don't get why people would comment on a YouTube video that they don't like, unless it is something constructive. And I tend to ask people in the comments who comment something negative what I can do better. And sometimes that leads to people just being really nice and saying, yeah, I didn't like your hairstyle, or whatever, if you can call that hairstyle. That's the thing. And then the workload. Taking this seriously, it really takes a lot of effort making YouTube videos, even the humble things I do. Oftentimes when I have a repair, it takes like 1 or 2 weeks, and while filming, it takes even longer than I would normally take to repair something. It's been a long time since I repaired something off camera actually, but filming stuff just adds like it at least triples the amount of time you need to do something. And then you have to care about the lights, the sound. I'm recording everything live basically because that's what I like to see YouTube channels. I just want people to feel like they are joining me in the lab here. And yeah, that was always the plan with the channel and it still is basically. And some people seem to enjoy that, some others don't. And I don't blame you. That's just, I'm making the kind of videos that I like to see. And I think I got a lot better. My English got a lot better. I got a lot better speaking freely. In the beginning, I did these videos in English because I was really shy. You can really feel that in my initial videos, but it got a lot better over the years. I think I can speak more freely now, and my English improved, of course, because I'm basically speaking English every day, although I'm not a native English speaker. And that's also one of the negative comments I always get from fellow Germans who complain about me not making videos in German and don't understand why I'm doing videos in English. I'm doing videos in English because there's a worldwide community and English is the language I speak that is spoken by most people. Yeah, I'm making these videos in English so more people can interact with them and understand them. That's the whole reason I'm doing it in English. Even if my English is, of course, not perfect because I'm not a native speaker. I think most of the times I get my point across. And that brings us to the next segment, the ugly. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of things happened during these last 10 years, especially with the state of global politics and kind of adjacent to that, the state of internet platforms. Now, I've never really openly said much political stuff in my videos because I always thought it would not be the place. But also, I'm a very political person in real life, my personal life. I've been brought up in the DIY hardcore punk community, and as an audio engineer, I produced quite a few of those bands. I was always kind of in the anti-fascist scene. And yeah, those people are super political. And of course, I got politicized by that in very much the left-wing orientation. But I try to keep that out of my videos, except for some very basic things that I don't really understand why people are not realizing them. They are just rooted in very basic morals and ethics, and I don't think that they are political at all, really. Yeah, I've been showing some rainbows and pride flags in my videos and wearing some t-shirts with rainbows and things. And people really got upset by that. I don't know why, because it's just, the statement basically is that I don't deny people their right to existence. That's what the statement is. And if you think you should deny people their existence, the right to existence, to be who they want to be, I don't know what's wrong with you. Really. That's as basic as it gets. And I've made some statements about exactly that on my social media. I cancelled my Twitter account even though it had like 8,000 followers, I think, when Elon Musk took over shortly after that. I cancelled my Instagram account, I cancelled my Facebook account when Mark Zuckerberg made the statements about it being okay to misgender trans people and things like that. I don't like that stuff. So I just quit, made a little posting about why I did that. Not really happy with Meta and Facebook and things like that anyway, but yeah, that was the point where I had to leave. So I did that. There were quite a few followers on there as well. I went to the Fediverse, mostly. You can see all my videos, the recent ones, at least for the last couple of years, on PeerTube now. I'm going to put a link to that in the video description because YouTube also starts shifting into the direction that I don't want to see, censoring stuff while claiming free speech. That's certainly not what I'm about. And yeah, most of my followers now, I reached a point where I have nearly as many followers on Mastodon, and Blue Sky is also what I'm doing, but yeah, begrudgingly so. Blue Sky is funded by venture capital and things, and Mastodon is the platform that I really like. That is a decentralized platform that is funded by individuals, basically. And you can run your own servers and things like that, which is not that easy with Blue Sky at the point it is. It claims to be decentralized, but it's not really easy to set up your own servers and decentralize it. And yeah, I think most of you who are interested in that kind of stuff know. And I made some statements about political stuff on my social media, so if you're not into political stuff, I promise I keep it out of this channel, mostly. But on my social media, I do what I want. I'm my political self there. And on this YouTube channel, I'm going to put the occasional hint towards my political orientation that hopefully is not too distracting for people who have slightly different ideas. Yeah, you should be wary of what's happening in the world at this point. And I always swore that if I ever get any kind of platform, I would not hold back with my opinions about this stuff. So that's what I do mostly. And I keep it quite low on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, and kind of adjacent to the whole social media politics kind of complex of things, AI or generative AI or LLMs. The advent of things that replace human creativity. I hate that stuff. I'm not going to use any of that. I use localized stuff that uses AI, but I never ever used the LLM stuff that uses the huge data centers and things like that and is run by shady people, I'd say. Yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. And especially as a creative, I've been a musician for all my life, basically, since I could hold a guitar. And I've been writing songs and I've been making videos and I've been dabbling with artsy stuff all my life, basically. And taking that away from people, basically, and letting machines use the creative output of all of humanity and the intellectual output of all of humanity without clearing any rights and things, it just baffles me how that is happening. I know that it's just happening because some individuals want to make a lot of money with it, but we should really be wary of that stuff. I don't think it's going to end well if we don't put in regulations on like world level, basically state level. We need to regulate that stuff, otherwise it's going to burn down the planet, destroy creativity, destroy our ability to think in the longer run. I'm really skeptical of AI is what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, if you're using that stuff, even if it's just ChatGPT or something like that, just think a while before you do it and think about the energy consumption, the water consumption, the people connected to the software you're using. Pay a bit more attention to that stuff because I see a lot of people using it without thinking twice. Yeah, enough about the negatives. Let's get back to the positive stuff. I am really grateful for being in this position, which is super privileged, of course, of doing YouTube as my main job at the moment. And my main income is from your donations. So that's something that I appreciate a lot. So people like what I do and pay me because they like what I do. And no middleman, except for YouTube and things like that. But you know what I'm getting at. I get paid because people enjoy what I'm doing. And that's a massive privilege. And I can make a living off it. Barely, but I can. And I've been living off YouTube for the past 6 years or so. So just a huge thank you to everybody who supports me and has supported me over the years and did support me at some point. Massive thanks for all the things you donated, for all the money you donated, for all the encouraging comments, for everything you did. That's the vast majority of comments and feedback I got was positive. And if you have something to criticize, if you do it in a constructive way, that is something I actually like and I take to heart and I try to change things sometimes if I think the criticism is justified. I guess that's all I wanted to say. I hope this wasn't too boring, but I just needed to take this opportunity. It's quite the milestone. 10 years on YouTube and now on PeerTube for 2 years or 3 years. I don't even remember. Time flies. I don't have any plans to retire anytime soon. And there's going to be more videos and more tinkering. And I have quite some amazing stuff coming up. And if you want to help out the channel, the links are in the video description. Or just comment on a video that I made or give it a thumbs up. Or just spread the word and tell your friends that you liked something that I did. If you did like it. Many, many thanks and yeah, I hope to do this 10 more years. We'll see if the world is still there then. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching all of my videos. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for thumbing up. That's it for today. I'm Jan Beta. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.